Hey everyone, Chandler Bolt here, and welcome to today's session. My name's Chandler Bolt. If we haven't met yet, I'm the CEO and founder of Self-Publishing School. You should also see the legendary Joel Friedlander here as well. You should see us side by side. If you guys will comment in the chat and let us know that you can hear me and see us, we're going to get things kicked off in just a minute. Got a couple of exciting announcements to make today, as well as some freebies for everyone in the audience. So this should be fun. I know Joe was saying right before we started, everyone loves freebies. And so I've got some freebies for you guys that I think you'll like, and that we normally only give to self-publishing school students, but it's for you guys here today as well. So it looks like we've got Eduardo in Argentina. Kieran, how are you? We've got Colleen, David, Deborah Ann, a bunch more folks coming in here in the chat. So I'm great to have you guys here. So I'll start with this. So years ago, I was on my self-publishing journey, like many of you probably are here today. And it was, gosh, what was it? 2013, 2012, wrote and self-published my first book. I see Penny in South Carolina. Good to have you here. That's my old stomping grounds. So I was on my journey, just like you guys are. Or maybe you're working on your first book. Maybe you've written and published multiple books, and maybe you're building an author career. But I was on that journey, and probably much like you, just searching for resources. It's like, all right, I'm kind of choosing the non-traditional path and going out and doing this thing without a publishing company, without an agent, without all those things. And that's the beauty of what's been created, the beauty with Amazon, with self-publishing and all these things that, you guys have probably seen this. There's been a massive shift over the last couple of decades away from traditional publishing and towards self-publishing. And so with that comes putting the power back in the hands of the authors, you guys. But also with that power comes a need for learning. And because if it now all of a sudden I've got to do all these things myself, and I've never had to do that, or I was previously reliant on a publisher, then how do I do this? And so much like you guys searching around the internet, looking for resources, there weren't many great ones. But there was one really good one in thebookdesigner.com. And I know you guys know Joel as just a legend in the industry, because he is. And I was sitting down with Michael Hyatt. This was 2 weeks ago. Former CEO of Thomas Nelson and runs Michael Hyatt and Company. And Joel, your name came up, and the book designer came up, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, Joel, what a legend!" And so I feel like there's just this unbelievable amount of admiration and respect for who you are, for what you've built, and through those resources. And so that sparked my journey. And then kind of fast forward all the way to today. We created Self-Publishing School, or I created Self-Publishing School. Me and my team created Self-Publishing School. We're an online education company. We help people write and publish books that grow their impact, their income, or their business. And so our goal is to put the power back in the hands of authors. We believe that books change lives, and they change the life of the reader, but also the author in the process of writing that book and publishing that book. And then also using a book to it's what I call a leveraged impact. So in my TEDx talk, I talk about this concept of like publishing this book, and then this book goes on to impact thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even millions of people. So we fast forward all the way to today, and we've been, on the Inc. 5000 list the last 3 years in a row as one of the 5,000 fastest growing private companies in America, and helped thousands of people write and publish their book. And our goal, our mission really is to help 100,000 books be published, and then by 2035. So in the next 14 years, we're about 6,000 or so on our way to that journey. So we got a long way to go, but a lot of progress so far. And so that brings us to where we're at today. And so now we're looking at how do we build new resources, build new tools, build things that help authors succeed. And so Joe and I had a conversation a few months ago about the book designer. And I said, I would love to add this as a resource to the Self-Publishing School family and as in kind of our family of resources. And that's exactly what we've done. So the transition happened in the last month. And so now the bookdesigner.com is officially owned by Self-Publishing School. And moving forward, this is kind of the more formal announcement of this, and it's been happening behind the scenes. And so moving forward, our goal is to it goes from stumbling on Joel, your content, and going through the material to now.
It's a big circle.
It is. It's a circle of life.
Big circle.
And just shepherding that moving forward. And our goal is to really build on your legacy of what you built, because it's just unbelievable. And seeing what you've built, seeing how, I mean, I know there are thousands, if not tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of authors along there that said, yeah, Joel Friedlander, thebookdesigner.com, like that was a huge part of my journey, and it helped me along my journey. And so our goal is to build on that and shepherd that. And so I want to talk to a couple things and just kind of what this announcement or what this will look like moving forward. And then I want to open it or send it back to Joel for some thoughts. But I'm super passionate about book design, and I think it's one of the things that you guys know that. And I mean, Joel obviously knows this, and everyone who's paying attention to the content here know this, is that's we always say your self-published book shouldn't look self-published. and it's the difference between looking legit and having a book that it looks good and it sells well and it makes an impact is the design element. And I think it's just one of the handful of things that, besides obviously writing a great book, I mean, that's the starting point, but you can write a great book, and if it's not designed well, it's not formatted well, the cover's not good, title says, like, it's not going to have anywhere near as much impact. And so I think what we'll be able to do is, so we've got Self-Publishing School, which chances are, if any of you have Googled anything about writing and publishing a book, you've probably landed on Self-Publishing School, which is one of our main, it's like kind of our main hub. We also have selfpublishing.com. And which that's another kind of hub. And then now we have the Book Designer, and we're going to keep building out kind of this suite of sites and resources. And so the Book Designer, obviously has a ton of amazing content specific to the design piece, which we, in kind of our free content, don't have a ton on that. We talk about that a lot in Self-Publishing School, but we don't have good publicly available resources. So our goal moving forward is it's really two things. Continually up-leveling like world-class content. And so over the next few months, you'll see we'll start doing an up-level of some design of the site, some republishing posts, updating and editing posts and stuff like that, to just try to make sure that you guys have the best content possible to help you succeed along your journey. So we'll keep adding to and updating and building this, and then also creating tools to better serve authors. So we've got tools I'll talk about later, and also some freebies I'll touch on in just a little bit for anyone who's interested. Is just a way to say welcome to the SBS fam, and as a thanks for being a part of the bookdesigner.com community. So we just launched. Maybe you saw it's called a book mock-up generator, and it's kind of cool. So we just launched this in December, and so you upload your book cover, and it spits out like 100, 200, 300 promotional images. And for all of our students, it's free. And for publicly available, I think it's like $50, $75 or something like that if you want to upgrade and have 200 images that you can use to promote your book. And so we're trying to keep up leveling and building things and tools like that. So I'd love your guys' feedback in the chat here. And I see Carol says, thanks for the announcement. Awesome. So I would love your feedback on just tools or things that would be helpful for you in the future. So is there specific content that you're interested in? Are there specific things that you're learning or want to learn about, or tools that would be helpful, problems that you're trying to solve in your journey of self-publishing? And I'd love to hear that in the chat. We'll touch on that a little bit later. So I just want to kind of frame this up, and then we're going to open up for questions in a little bit as well. You can post questions in the chat. But and then I've got a couple announcements and a couple freebies I want to give away. But just for starters, so Joel, I know we talked a little bit about this, but those are our goals, and is really just building on your legacy, man, and continue to move.
Let me give you a little background. Chandler. So I mean that might be helpful. And I started the blog in the end of 2009, And really, to be honest with you, I was looking for jobs, for my book design business, which I'd been running for many years, called Marin Bookworks. And, and I thought, well, I'm a writer and this would kind of be fun. The fun part stayed there for a while. But, it's really a lot of work to create a blog that actually will attract people, because I kept coming up to the question of, what is it that would make a person come to this site twice? We all visit lots of websites, but frequently the vast majority of them, you're only ever going to see once, because you're going to look at it, you're going to say, yeah, it's okay, and on your way. So what would make somebody actually want to come back? And that was the whole concept behind building resources for new authors. People had no idea that there was such a thing called book design. I had a client early in my career who said to me, well, book design, I mean, you guys just stick the page numbers on the pages, right? So, that's what we attempted to do. We built a massive amount of resources over the 11 years that I operated the site. There's quite a few people involved in that, so it's not just me. I mean, there's content from experts in virtually every part of the publishing industry. And I felt very fortunate to be able to husband and gather those resources and put them together for authors, because I know, from my own experience, it's very hard to find specific, really detailed information when you get to that point, like, well, should my paragraphs be indented or should they be block style? Yeah, it's boring to most people. Nobody wants to talk about that. So, and my wife tells me this often. And so that's the exact kind of thing that we wanted to address, when you came to the real nuts and bolts, because nobody ever tells you, like, you want to write a book. Okay, that's great. But when you're finished with that book, there's so many little decisions throughout the whole publishing process, not just the design part. But every part of the publishing process, you're going to be asked to make decisions about stuff that you probably have no idea what these people are talking about, maybe. So that's the part that Chandler and I play. We supply the education that you need so that you can deal with all of these things in a rational way that's going to help you get to your aim. And the whole thing about, of course, book design is we want to put people in the best position to succeed as we can. So, you wouldn't walk into an interview for a job with your foot bleeding, would you? But if you shoot yourself in your foot, that's what's going to happen. So we don't want that to happen. We want you to go in there and, sometimes you're in this actual literal situation where you're actually handing a book to somebody, almost like a big fat business card. But, for nonfiction authors particularly, writing a great book and then making sure that you can present it in a way that it's easy for the reader to get the information that you're providing, that's what we really want to do. So a lot of the whole focus of the site is on making sure that, it's not about the design, it's about book publishing and giving yourself the best chance to succeed, putting yourself in the right position. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it, and that's what I've worked on all those years. And even the years where I was writing myself 5 articles a week, because I figured, more articles, more readers. It's undeniable. So that's one of the reasons you're going to find, I believe right now we have about 2,500 articles on book design, book marketing, book publishing, book printing, how to get an estimate from a real short-run offset book printer. I tell you, Chandler, I'll tell you something that maybe I haven't mentioned before, but one of the things that always surprised me about what I was doing with the book designer was that nobody ever competed with me. There is not one other site anywhere on the internet that deals with this subject matter. So it really, when I say it's a unique resource, I mean, it's unique. It's the only one. So that always surprised me. But, that's to your advantage, as consumers of the content, people who need to learn something, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot about book design or fonts or typography. that's going to work to your benefit because we've got it all in one place. And the last thought I'll leave you with is the fact that even today, in whatever year this is, let me check. When you get old like me, you lose track of these things. Anyway, even now in 2021, we're writing books. The books that we publish most of them are all text. That's all that's in the book is fonts. No matter how great your book is, it could be War and Peace, it could be Jacqueline Suzanne, it doesn't matter. The whole book is text. So I think it really is to your advantage as an author, if you plan to do this as a career, to learn a little bit about typography, because it's so influential in book design, because you're going to hand your readers like 200 or 300 or 400 pages of text. So knowing how to present that is actually going to be to your advantage now. And that's really what the book designer is all about.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm excited to just keep building on that because like you said, I mean, it's such a unique and helpful resource. And I think it will be a resource for so many people, for self-publishing school students, for people who aren't self-publishing school students who are just looking for help, and it's this thing's not being talked about. So I think across the board, this is gonna be unbelievably helpful. I want to.
For me, on my side, Chandler, it's very exciting for me because I'm at the end of my career. I'm finished. I'm I'm a senior citizen, and so you wind down. And to me, it's very exciting to be able to put the site in the hands of a young, dynamic, growing team that is really dedicated to helping authors. So I know that it will live on, and that to me is very satisfying. So that's my excitement.
I love that. And I was trying to take a note of that because I want to share that with the team because I think they'll love that. So I see Linda says, love to Joel, good going. We got lots of love for you, Joel, in the chat. I want to wrap up with a couple final things. So I love your feedback on how we can make things better and take things to the next level from a tools perspective, from a content perspective, anything on the site that you think could be better. Or could better serve you and your goals as an author, please let me know and let us know. And so you can reach us directly at support@self-publishingschool.com. And you'll see some just upgrades and improvements and changes across the board on the site as a whole and the content, and that'll be coming out over the next few weeks. I do have a freebie for everyone, so I'm going to drop the link in the chat here. So I think you guys will like it. So for everyone here, or if you're watching this on the replay and you're a friend of thebookdesigner.com, I just wanted to kind of do something nice to say welcome to SBS fam. So I'm going to give you a copy of my book if you're interested. And it's my book published, The Proven Path from Blank Page to Published Author. And so it's all about the overview of going throughout this whole journey. I think you'll find it unbelievably helpful. I just dropped the link in the chat. You can go to self-publishingschool.com/friend. You've got a friend in me. And go to self-publishingschool.com/friend. Fill out that form, comment in the chat. I got my copy. If you decided to grab a copy, I'll pay for shipping. I'll pay for handling. I'll pay for the printing of the book, like the whole thing. Literally, all you have to do is just fill out a form, and then wait for the book to show up at your doorstep, the physical copy of that book. So,
and I would encourage everyone to get a copy of this book because I will guarantee you right now, you're going to learn some really unbelievable stuff from Chandler's book.
Yeah, thank you, Joel. And so I dropped that link in the chat. Hopefully you can see that there. Grab a copy and we'll ship it to you. And then also, if you're interested in chatting with the team at Self-Publishing School about getting our help with your book, I dropped the link in the chat, and this should have just popped up. Let's see. Judy says I don't see the link, so I just dropped it in here. You should see self-publishingschool.com/friend. I'll send this one more time. And then you should also see there's a little pop-up that says apply to join the 90-day challenge. So if you're interested in working with us at Self-Publishing School to either get your book published or sell more copies of the book that you already have, we have kind of unique curriculum depending on where you're at and your goals as an author. And So you can click the button or just go to self-publishingschool.com/apply. Book a call with the team. That'll be a 45-minute strategy call with my team. I've covered the cost of this phone call for you. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to book a call and then show up. And we're happy to help you with kind of create a plan and next steps. And if you're a fit and if you qualify to work with us, we'll talk about what that looks like. And we can see if that makes sense. We're full disclosure. We're super picky about who we work with. We have about 3,000 people apply to work with us every single month. And we only accept about 8% or so. Fun fact, Harvard's acceptance rate is about 5 to 6%. So it's almost as hard to get into self-publishing school as it is to get into Harvard. But that's because we care about your success. And we're only going to talk about working together if we feel like it's a fit. So if that's you, you can click the blue apply now button and head on over there and book a call. And you can just comment in the chat here, I booked a call if you decide to. And then we've got fiction specific content. So our fundamentals of fiction and story program, if you're writing your first or your next fiction book. We've got our full-time fiction program, which is all about selling more fiction books long-term. We've got children's book school, which is all about writing a book that parents love and that kids will, that parents will be proud to buy and kids will love to read. And so that's for children's books. And then we've got the nonfiction side of the company, which is kind of the biggest side of the company, which is nonfiction books. And then rolling into, we have content on how to sell more books. We actually just, as of the time of this recording, just yesterday launched a brand new product on how to sell more books. I think it's the best product that we have about building a long-term roadmap to truly selling more books and what it actually takes to get there. And then we got a bunch of other curriculum to help authors. So if any of those sound interesting to you, you can click the link in the chat. And book a call with the team. I see a couple questions, and then I'll say last call if you want to do either one of those two things, and then I'll have a couple kind of parting thoughts here. And if you have any final questions, drop them in the chat. I see Sherry says, I already have the book. That's awesome. Mariella says, where's the link to the webinar? So there's a lot of free training on the Self-Publishing School website, and you can find links to webinar training there. And then I see Dwayne says, what's the site to upload a book cover for promotions? Thanks. So it's on the Self-Publishing School website. I think also if you just Google search book mockup generator self-publishing school, you should be able to find it. It's really new. So I think we've mostly just rolled it out internally to our students as kind of a bonus freebie and resource for them. And we'll be rolling that out to the public within the next month or so. So you should be able to find it there or on the site. And if for some reason you're unable to find it, just reach out to the team and we can make sure that you get help there. All right. Now let me just double check. I see a couple people mentioning says that they're getting a 404 email. 404 error. So I'll make sure that I double check this right after, and that I think they're submitting properly, but it might just be a problem with the thank you page. We just got a lot of transition happening, and we just rolled out a brand new site last month and upgraded things, so that caused a couple links to break. I see but I'm seeing on the back end, I see it looks like James just claimed a copy of the book. So did Robin, so did Nancy, so did Barb, Anushi, I think Diana, Michelin, and Amy, and Francis, and Rachel, and Judy, and Carol, and Ronald, and Francis again, and Judy, and James. I think these might be double coming in on my side, but we'll make sure to get it cleaned up. I think Joel, Diana, a few more. It's just like they're all coming through right now. So we'll get that book packed and shipped ASAP. I see Robin mentioned that. And I think I'll double check with the team right after this to make sure that gets fixed. Okay, I see one or two questions here. Eduardo says, can you write the email or can you write the URL? Let me know which URL you're mentioning there. And let's see. I see John says, I have a nonfiction book, 99% completed and edited with endorsements. What can SBS do for me? So yeah, we can help you publish it more successfully. and go through all the fundamentals. We call this the fundamentals of a perennial bestseller. So how do you make sure you have a good title, subtitle, cover, and all those things to not only launch it well, which I think is kind of our superpower, is the marketing piece, but then also so that it sells well after the fact. So if that sounds interesting, John, you can book a call with the team and we can kind of chat through what that would look like. All right. I see. Oh, Pedro says, yep, they're all coming in. Perfect. And Pedro, if you can just double check with the team, I think it might be the same thing we ran into this morning where there's a 404 on the thank you page. So we just need to make sure the migration happens with that thank you page.
Technology, isn't it fun?
It's a blast.
When it works.
Yeah. I'm going to drop this in here one more time. That's for you, Eduardo, and anyone else who needs it, the self-publishingschool.com/friend. And so you guys can grab a free copy of the book there. So hopefully that helps. That's all I've got. We're excited to, like I said earlier, just really build on, Joel, what you've built and keep this as part of your legacy and just keep building and growing and creating better content for authors. So I'm excited for that. I hope that you guys are too. And please let us know any feedback on how we can make things better and improve. And all the resources that you currently have as part of the site, you'll continue to have access to, and you'll just see hopefully some in the behind the scenes, just up levels and upgrades and all that good stuff as we plug away at this over the next few months and beyond. So those are my final thoughts. Any final thoughts on your end, Joel?
Make it better. Hey, that's what I always try to do. I mean, incrementalism, I mean, every little improvement you make really builds up to have a big effect. No, I want to wish everybody the best with their books. And, if you get stuck, head over to the book designer and maybe we'll have an answer for you.
Yeah. Awesome. Joel, appreciate you, man. And I'm excited for this next chapter.
Yes, me too. And I can't wait to see what you guys do with it. I know you got a great team there, so I'm really pumped about that and looking forward to it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Joe. And thank you everyone for being here. If you have any questions or need help with anything, don't hesitate to reach out to us directly at Self Publishing School. We'll talk to you soon. See you guys.